afternoon and welcome. I'm Karen Marsdale, President of the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce, and we're here for another interview with one of our great members on our Member Spotlight edition. And I am so thrilled to have Captain Ted Tressler with us today. Captain, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thank you for joining us from, of course, the Salvation Army.
Yes.
And I don't think there's probably a soul out there that doesn't know Salvation Army, but sometimes I think that they may forget. Obviously, it's an international movement. Started in...
It started in 1865. William Booth.
William Booth, right.
Yes. And in England, actually, in London.
Yes,
so,
yes.
We're a British organization.
A British organization that came and Americanized to some degree, but you're all over the world?
Actually, yes. We serve in 128 countries.
Wow.
And here in the U.S., we actually serve every zip code in some form or fashion.
Wow, that's amazing when you think about that. I mean, just covering the entire United States with help and hope and all the other things that you do under a faith-based perspective, which is great. And we're particularly fortunate here, I think, in Berks County, with the legacy that is here with Salvation Army, and I've known for many years. Actually, in 2015, you celebrated 150 years of your anniversary internationally. But how long has the program been in Berks? Do you know?
We've been serving in Berks County for 132 years.
Well, that's pretty good when you think about the fact that it was not quite long after the inception of the organization that Berks County seems to really be, that's true for a number of different things. But so let's fast forward and talk about, because the relevancy of what you do is probably as, if not more important today than ever more. With the services that you provide, with the opportunity that you give. Talk a little bit about what happens. I know to some degree what happens in that building on South 5th Street, but tell us a little bit about that.
Well, our kind of a big picture is that we seek to serve the entire population. And so we sort of look at that in terms of age. Rather than looking at people in specific circumstances or with specific needs. Now, of course, it comes down to that in the micro, but we actually serve and offer programs to our community neighbors who are of all ages, from birth to the senior of the seniors, and everyone in between.
Wow, that's a big job.
Yeah, we have a lot of wonderful staff who are able to carry that out.
Right, you do. You absolutely do, and you have a lot of dedicated folks. And just had the opportunity, because we worked together this summer on a summer reading program for children, and I got to go in and really kind of just see it right there in action. It was great. Met a number of the counselors, the junior counselors, and a lot's happening. So, where would you say? As you see, and you've been here how long now?
Just a year, just over a year.
Just a year.
Yes.
Seems like it was longer than that, but time has a way of flying by.
Yes, time does fly, and it seems like longer to us too. You know, we've tried very hard to be involved in the community and learn everything that we can, and so we've learned a lot. And I got to say, Berks County and Reading is a wonderful place to live. This is a gem.
Well, thank you. We love to hear that, because that's the message that we're constantly messaging out and talking to people about, from far and wide and locally. So thank you. I like that from an Outslander who's just come into the community, and I know that of you because we've talked a little bit before in the past. But so I know because. Well, I'm going to be very honest and personal. My husband is a volunteer, does after-school tutoring and loves it, loves the kids, enjoys it. I wish every retired person would come and do something like that.
So do we.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me what some of the, let's talk first programs, and then let's talk needs of our community for those programs.
Okay. Our major programs our permanent supportive housing program. We have 32 units of supportive housing for individuals and families who have a co-occurring disability. So we've got 32 units where we provide most of the rent. The tenant, our client, pays a portion. We help with utilities and whatnot. We also provide other things. It's not just here's the money and let's
Sure.
get this done. We provide life skills classes and case management, and the desire is to move folks forward in their lives to whatever is best for them. So we have professional caseworkers, social workers who help in that process, and many actually do find their way into other stable forms of housing, and that frees us up to help someone else. So our permanent supportive housing, we have a rapid rehousing program that just came online in February.
Okay, and what does that look like?
Well, that's a program in which we are able to help individuals and families who find themselves homeless, and we can pay their rent for them for up to a year. And during that time, we're seeking to help them move from that state of dependency into independence and self-sufficiency, and connecting them with community resources, and helping them to identify the barriers to their own success, and taking those necessary steps, and to sort of take that next step and make that more successful. We have a new program that's been operating for about 2.5 years. It's called Pathway of Hope. That's a new initiative in which we have families who are finding themselves in a cycle of repeated need.
Okay.
And the desire is to find families who are willing to make the commitment to do what's necessary to break that cycle. And it's a really, we call it intensive case management. They're meeting where our caseworker, social worker is meeting with them regularly, weekly at least, and we're visiting their home. They're coming to our office. We're helping them to identify their barriers, making plans to overcome those barriers, equipping them to take those steps, walking with them every step of the way. And it's about a 2-year program.
Sure.
And the big picture is to first break that cycle of crisis in a family's life, because that adds so much stress and so many creates so many negative elements in a life, especially when there are children. And that's the one requirement, that there are children in the family.
Sure.
The other is to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty. We know that children who grow up from birth to age 18 living below the poverty level are 30 times more likely to live in below poverty level themselves their entire lives.
Right, right.
So if we can break
Not
that,
surprising.
Yeah, if we can break that cycle, we can have real impacts in our community. And it's not something that happens quickly. This is a long-term investment in these families and in the community.
That is amazing, and we're already getting the high sign that our conversation has to end in a moment or two, but we could go on because there's so many programs. I know there are, like I said, after school programs for children who can come, and one of the things that I did not realize is that the children are fed.
Yes.
You're feeding families, there's just a lot going on. I would ask, because I was going to ask some things about outcomes, but let's talk about if someone's listening or has some opportunity. And again, this summer we had volunteers with the summer reading program. Sometimes it doesn't take a full day a week.
Right.
It might be just a little snippet of time.
Right.
Where would you say there's a place for volunteers?
I'm going to say initially, because it's fresh in my mind, with our after-school program. Our Mañana after-school program is a place where we can engage with helping children to not just learn to read, but do better at reading.
Sure.
Helping them to socialize in a healthy way. It's important for children to be able to interact with adults in a healthy way where the adult sits and listens to them, because so many children don't get that.
Right.
And so coming and volunteering, let us know. Just give us a call, and we'll make it happen.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. You really don't. And
Absolutely.
I think, again, the other opportunity oftentimes within the corporate community is the fact that employers will let people come and volunteer
Right.
with doing some of the kinds of things that we're talking about.
Right.
Because just one little 2-hour slot of time or 3-hour slot of time, once a week or every other week or whatever whatever can be given is just great. And I want to thank you for being here. You're really a light in the community.
Well, thank you.
And whatever we can do to help, we're definitely here. So thank you for spending time with me.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Oh,
and thank you for inviting us.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Great. God bless.
Thank you.